This is Zordon calling the Power Rangers. Beware! Rita Repulsa and her evil henchmen are out to destroy all of you in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Super NES. Fight your way through 7 incredible levels of non-stop action. To win, you'll have to morph into a Power Ranger and overcome obstacles. Swim through underground waterways, crawl through dark caverns, even do battle as the mighty Megazord.
Let's kick it!
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers video game for your Super Nintendo Entertainment System from Bandai.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Izzy's Retro Video Game Reviews. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers video game. Not the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers video game that was based on the movie, but maybe I'll do that in a future episode. But nah, we're going to be talking about the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game that came out in 1994. This is, even though it is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers video game, and you are getting to play with the original Power Rangers. This is and it came out for basically every platform available at the time. Super NES, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Game Boy, and Game Gear. So even though it came out for all those platforms, do not be fooled. Do not get it twisted. This is not the same game. The versions of each version was very different. So let's talk about that. So in the Super NES version, it was strictly a level game. You would basically go play as one of the 5 Power Rangers. Kimberly, Jason, Zach, Billy, or Trini, and then you would pick one of them and navigate through the levels, and each level would have a boss battle where you would battle a villain, and then you would defeat the villain first, and then it would grow. Rita would make it grow with her staff, just like she did on the show, and you have to use the Megazord to kind of defeat it. And that's how the Super NES version was. So it was a level-based game. And then the Sega Genesis version was a game where it wasn't a level game; it was a fighting game. So basically, you would once again battle. Use the 5 Power Rangers. Fight against each other. But then also it would be kind of like platforming mixed in there and all that good stuff. And if you like I said, same premise as the NES version. You would fight a villain and then regularly you would fight, and then you would fight in the Power Ranger costume. And then what happens is you would navigate through these levels and finish the level, and then you would eventually get up to the Green Ranger, because as you know in the show, Tommy started off evil before he joined the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He was under Rita's control. So basically you would have to face him, and then if you beat him and then you use the Megazord to beat the Dragon Zord, you would be able to use Tommy. And that would only be in the Super NES, and that would only be in the Sega Genesis and other subsequent versions of the game. Tommy is not available on the Super NES, which kind of sucks. But they did rectify that when they released Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, and of course Tommy became the White Ranger after his Green Ranger powers were stripped. Then so the Game Boy version, I didn't play it, but doing my research for this, I found out that is a much more simplified version of the console versions. 5 levels and same premise, but 5 levels. And then if you played it on the Super Game Boy, which is the contraption that you could put into your Super NES, and you can play Game Boy games in, and they would kind of be in color. You would kind of get the colors of the of the console version. So that was pretty cool. And then on Game Gear, I believe it's another version that I didn't play, but I believe that was a level oriented game too, and much more simplified controls. And also, and then Sega CD, I didn't find much on it. All I know is that the Sega CD version was a full QuickTime based events game. So basically things would happen, and you would have to kind of press the corresponding button to trigger the event. Most much like you see in games today. So I guess that was a little ahead of its time, because QuickTime events weren't really seen in the '90s. So that, I guess, that was a little bit ahead of its time as far as QuickTime goes. But man, just so much, like, and you had their unique animations and their unique weapons. I remember I didn't own a copy for the Super NES, but I did rent it from Blockbuster a multitude of times, like every chance that I got, because I was such a huge fan of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, as were most people growing up in that era, man. Most kids. And every time I hear the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme, it just gives me goosebumps, because it's such a great theme. And the all the music from the show was great. But yeah, man. And then judging by remembering the Fallen Rangers, Trini, of course, who died in a car accident in 2001, and Tommy, who died by suicide a couple of years ago. It was just crazy, man. Because those are things that you grew up with, and to see when they were gone, kind of a piece of childhood went with them. And But luckily, their legacies will forever be preserved on DVD, and the series on. They had the whole series on Netflix. I have the DVD box set, and also the recent Power Rangers movie that they did a couple of years ago, Forever and Always, or something like that. But I did a review of that. I'll put it in the video at the end of this video, so you guys can see it. But man, I just remember having so many fond memories of playing as Jason. Before Tommy came along, Jason was my favorite Power Ranger, and Zach was also a favorite of mine. It's 1A and 1B. You can't put them can't rank them. But yeah, just 1A and 1B with Zach and Jason. But just a really cool game, and I remember I got to play the Sega Genesis version when I got a Sega Genesis. A friend of mine had it, and he lent it to my brother and I, and we played that one, which it was much cooler, like I said, because it was like a one-on-one fighting game, and then you got to unlock Tommy at the end if you defeated the Green Ranger and the Dragon Zord. So that was pretty cool. And it came along with all the sounds of the Dragon Zord flute, and yeah, it was pretty damn cool. Yeah, man, so many cool memories of playing this game, and it wasn't loved universally by critics, because I looked at the scores that they gave it back then. But hey, as a kid, you didn't care about that. We didn't care about that. It was just all about having fun, and the Power Rangers was certainly a fun game, and the game based on the movie was too. So yeah. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of Izzy's Retro Video Game Reviews. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And of course, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.